hello, hello, hello. It is Sunday. It is 8 p.m. and it is January 22nd. And we are discussing habits, but we're discussing habits in a little bit of a different way than we've discussed them before. And that's because we're going to be discussing the book, The Compound Effect. And The Compound Effect was the first habit book I ever read way before any of us knew about Atomic Habits. Atomic Habits was like my third one. And it just caught fire with all the coaches and the group, and we all loved it, and it became the thing. But actually, before Atomic Habits, there was the Compound Effect. In fact, the book is much older than Atomic Habits, and that's why I love that James Clear kind of wrote out the best notes and takeaways. And the reason why this book is very different from Atomic Habits is that it's a little bit more about the emotions that generate behavior. And I think this is a really important point because a lot of times we focus on the thoughts and feelings that are generating like self-sabotage and limiting beliefs. And we're always talking about like how we get out from under those, but we're not looking at it kind of from a more scientific, psychological perspective of how do we build new ones? How do we build new feelings? Like I didn't even know that was a thing until I read this book. Not only that, but there are a few key pieces that I think are very relevant to the challenges we face every day. So before we kind of jump into what I think are the biggest takeaways, I'm really curious. Ruthie just shared that she's been sick lately. I'd love to hear, guys, what is your greatest challenge kind of that you're facing in terms of your habits right now? What habit is feeling challenging for you? Who wants to start? Oh my gosh, guys. Sorrel, go for it.
Okay, so yeah, so basically my hardest challenge is that I really love yoga, and that's not my hardest challenge. I love yoga and I love swimming or like some other kind of aerobic, and I finding it hard to fit both of them in the day. And I feel like yoga really calms me down before I go to sleep, but sometimes I'm just like, there's just too many things going on.
Yeah. So let's try to break that down. Where is the actual problem? You like those things. You wish you had more time in
Finding
your
the
day.
time. Yeah.
And
Finding
you feel
the time.
like it's reasonable for you to have time to do both yoga and swim every day.
I would like that. I mean, even if it's not swimming, like, if it's Zumba or, I mean, really just because it makes me happy. Not even, I actually find I lose more weight when I don't exercise. It's more for my mental health. I really see it as like, just keeps me sane.
So what you really want is a morning and an evening activity.
Yeah, but I try to get up at 5, but my sleep isn't good, which I guess is another habit I have to work on. And then it makes it hard for me to do the 5 a.m. exercise. And then that kind of gets pushed till later. And then it's just too hard to fit everything in my day.
So if you're not getting up, then you're working out late at night, but then it's affecting your sleep.
No, it's not affecting my sleep. It's the poor sleep is making it hard for me to get up at 5, which is what I need to do to really realistically fit in both in the day.
Okay. So is it because they're both 30 minutes?
What's the question?
Is it because they are both 30 minutes?
Is it because they're both 30 minutes it's hard to fit in? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Right. So I thought I'd do 10-minute yoga instead. But maybe I should do 10-minute yoga in the morning. And then I don't need to get up at 5. I could still do it at 6 and still feel like I'm getting in my yoga. Good call.
There we go. You guys have all the wisdom. Sometimes we just need to talk it out and ask good questions. That's it.
Thank you.
Who else has done? My pleasure. You did it. You did all the work. I held space. Who else has a challenge that they're facing right now? Something that is a habit, something that's just not fitting in the way you want it to. Water, veggies. I mean, come on. Who has a challenge that they're willing to share? That's why we're here, to just share and connect. Sarah, Rena. Hello, Rena. Hello, Charlotte. Hello, Naomi. Welcome. Welcome to the call. We are talking about habits. We're talking about the compound effect from Darren Hardy. And before we kind of get into that, we're kind of seeing like what habits is everybody working on right now? And if not challenged by, then maybe in process with. Sorrel said trying to fit in her exercise. Sarah Friedman, yay, raise your hand. Go for it.
So I also haven't been well for about 6 weeks. I don't know, on and off of the flu and sinus and everything. And now I am starting to feel a little bit better. And it's before I got sick, I was working out 5 times a week in the morning. And I'm just like not able to like get started again.
I feel you. Anything else you want to add to that?
I don't really feel like I can do like long-winded workouts. Because like if I like bend my head down, like I'm thinking yoga maybe, but then if I bend my head down, it's like it's not good for my breathing and just like at the moment. So I guess it is maybe just being able to get a little bit better. But it's like kind of getting started and stop like having excuses of like, now I'm sick, because I know it makes me feel amazing when I work out.
Yeah, I was sick for a whole month. I totally get it. I really get it. One of the things that kept me sane mentally was focusing on the stress recovery workouts. And if you go into Beachbody On Demand and you just go into the search bar and you put in recovery, it's going to give you every recovery workout that's in BOD, BODI, everything. And then you go on the side, you put on 10 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever you want. You can go also do the same thing in BODI under yoga, look for recovery both ways. And what's amazing is that like start one. Even if you do 10 minutes, like you've checked that box of like, okay, I gave myself that time, but you have to respect your body and not like cardio and strength training are straining a body, and then you come back stronger, but you're not going to come back stronger if you're ill. You need to fully heal. So even a 10-minute outside walk, if that's like, if putting your head down is going to be a problem, it's really about that, you know, a quote from Darren Hardy for today, let's write it down, is the key to success is this: are you learning each day? And learning just doesn't mean that we're gaining weight. Like one thing I love about Alana, she said like we're losing or we're learning, but somehow then we think that learning means that we better be gaining weight. We're not. We can just be learning, you know, what's working for us and where we are today and how we can show up best for that. And the other one that I love is no business is going to keep someone around just for showing up. We have to be continually getting ready. So I don't know about business, but I was going to say like your body is there for you. Your body is there for you, and you just have to show, like, you don't just have to show up, you have to get ready. So it's not just about showing up to a workout, right? It's about healing so that you can show up to a workout. You know, we think like, no, just show up, just show up, show up. Sometimes showing up and not, you know, not doing any work in the office, they're like, why didn't you stay home and get better, show up, you know, ready for work? The same thing with a workout. You know, doing something that's appropriate is going to be better than harming yourself, you know, and you came up with that yourself. What other habit is someone working on? We have a lot of exercise here. Ruthie, was that like a wave? I'm thinking about it. No, Rena, how about you?
Putting myself first.
Putting yourself first. Putting yourself first. You know, one of my favorite Darren Hardy quotes for this is, the older your habits are, the deeper their roots and the harder they are to change. Right? It's a lot about the feelings and the mindsets of habits and less about like the kind of the structure like Atomic Habits is about habits. Is this an old habit, not putting yourself first?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's okay that it's going to be a little harder to change, right?
Yeah, but it really requires a lot of change.
Okay. You've heard of SMART goals before, right? I know Yoni's talked about SMART goals in the group before. So one of the things I like about SMART goals is, for me, it sounds for sustainable, measurable, actionable, right? That you can do them and nothing stands in the way of you personally doing it. R is recognition of the tiny wins along the way. And T is time. You can't accomplish anything if you don't give it enough time. So what would putting yourself first more than you do currently look like in the smallest step? What would the smallest recognizable, measurable, actionable thing that you are actually in control of? What's one thing you could do to put yourself first?
I make my exercise time non-negotiable. Like, let's say,
Okay.
like something came up today and I had to do something for someone in the time where I usually have my exercise class. So
Mhm.
I probably just should have said no.
Maybe. So is that sustainable? Are you always going to be willing to say no at this specific time? Like, you're never just going to schedule anything. Is the time you work out early enough that that's realistic and sustainable for you?
I can't say I'm never going to say no, but lately it's been happening more often.
Okay. So I'm going to kind of ask again, but the time you work out, is it a time that things tend to come up a lot?
No, it's usually around 8:30 in the morning. So it's usually an okay time.
Okay. Is there any possibility of moving a little bit earlier to where it would be easier to have it be non-negotiable?
I do like a live class on Zoom, so not really, but I could, if I knew I wouldn't be able to go to a class, I could do like a recorded class before or something like that,
But it's important to you to go to this other class live.
Yeah, I like to do it live.
Okay. So you're already getting up and you're going to do this class live, and then are you in your workout clothes in the class?
Yes.
And then you just go straight to your workout.
Well, I do it I usually I get dressed into my workout clothes and I usually dive in and then I do it on Zoom.
The workout?
Yeah.
With a group or with friends, with who?
Yeah, it's a group. It's on the bicycle right back there.
Oh, amazing. Awesome. So what would help to protect that? So it would be very actionable. Like, do you take phone calls? Do you check your phone in between your class and getting in your workout?
No, I don't. I guess just making sure to not, I have to be able to tell people no, that's not a good time for me. I need to do it later because, I'm busy then, it's like, the whole thing about not putting myself first. I have to know what's important to me, and I'm not be able to be there for everyone if I don't put myself first. So
Yeah.
I need to do that.
What's the old habit that really is under that? What are you telling? I'm just curious. What are you telling yourself underneath? Well, if I don't help them, what's going to happen?
Oh, it's a lot of people pleasing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we all suffer from that, right? Not alone. People pleasing. Okay. So if you don't help them, then it's going to be your fault. What's the dialogue?
If I don't help them, they're going to be upset, or they're expecting it from me, stuff like that. I don't want to let people down because usually I'm a helpful person. So
so if you say no, what does it say about you?
I'm not as nice as everyone thinks.
I'm not as nice as everyone thinks. I'm sure, like, I wish everyone was on video because I know everybody relates to what you're saying right now. But guys, when someone is sharing, and if you can be on video, like, get on video, because like we're all in this together and people sharing their hearts, and like it's awkward to like see everyone's okay.
It's okay.
One of the things that I think is really important here is the story you're telling yourself in your head, right? That like they're going to be angry, all these things about them, and then that you're not as nice. But if the habit change, right, is coming from this deep root, right, and we want to make a new habit, then the change needs to be in the root. And then you put a seed in the ground, you don't expect it to sprout overnight, but if you put in the seed of, I'm a bad person, or I'm not as nice as everyone thinks, if I do this for myself, or I'm not as good a mom, or they're going to be angry, and then I'm just going to have to deal with that baggage later. It's like not even worth it, right? So then the more we take a different seed to plant, then the better chance we have about having a different effect, having a different tree grow. And that's kind of what's different about the compound effect. It's talking about doing the work that you do every day that isn't an immediate gratification win. Like, oh, now I see something on the scale. Amazing. That 1% made a difference. No, this is about changes we make on the inside that continue to grow and sprout into huge, amazing, beautiful trees years later. So if you think about a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, right, that you started to get to the bottom of this behavior, and you start to tell yourself every time you have a conflict, like when I say yes to me, it is saying yes to everybody. When I say no to me, ultimately, it's not being as nice as everyone thinks I am, because I'm not even nice to myself. And we know, right, in Jewish thought that like the closer you are to someone, the bigger your obligation to help them. Like it's easy to give charity to, the IDF, but when our sister who gets on our nerves comes and asks for a handout, like, ugh, right? Like it, and she's just been sitting on her butt. How much she hasn't been working, or she really does this. She needs to clear. They have to take a vacation in Miami. Why is she asking me for money, right? But we can write a check to the IDF, no problem. So it's that same thing of like it's harder to sometimes give to ourselves. That's something to think about. Is there anything that's kind of maybe coming to mind for you that's like a little seed you could plant and start watering every day about, this is my time. When I give to myself, ultimately I'm going to give to everybody else.
I really think like I have to like really, because I've been like very sketchy with my like workouts recently because things have come up. And I really feel like once I get that in, I'll feel like, okay, I've done that for myself, and like that will give me a good base, like not in like also I'll feel better in terms of making better food choices that day. And it doesn't only, it affects a lot of things, not just putting myself first. It affects a lot of different areas.
Ways you put yourself
make
first
me feel
all
good.
day.
What?
Yeah. And a lot of ways you put yourself first all day of actually feeding yourself properly and nurturing yourself.
Right.
So what can you do like that's now measurable to protect that workout time? Who do you need to like send a family is it family stuff? Is it like people close to you? You need to be like, guys, I need to create a boundary here. This time is sacred now. The same way my learning time is sacred, this time is non-negotiable. It's sacred. I'll be available after this time. Please don't come and ask. I hate saying no, but I'm saying no in advance. What would be words that would be authentic to you, and how would you communicate that to your family?
No, I think I could really say, like that's like very, I try to be there for you, but that's this hour is very important to me. And it's only an hour, and after this hour, I'm there for you and I'll be happy to do it any other time of day, or et cetera, et cetera. But
So right now you're already apologizing. How can you say it without apologizing, without being like, this is really important to me, and I'm available after 9 a.m.
right, I could just say it like that.
Could you say something like that? So will you let us know in the group? Is that comfortable for you, that you took some action?
I could.
Amazing. We can't wait to celebrate your success. Yay. We'll put up fun gifs, dancing gifs when you do it. Amazing. And Sarah, same with you. If you try a yoga or you try a walk, share it in the group and let us celebrate you. Sorrel, same thing. If you find a yoga workout that's shorter, like it's celebrating, right? We said smart, recognizing that every step and watering that seed, like it's important. You can't be successful without it. And something you just mentioned, I thought that was very profound, Rena, was one of another great quote that he has is, if you create goals for yourself that have friction with your values, you're going to self-sabotage or feel guilty about the process, right? So if you feel like being a good mom or being always available is a value to you, then you're going to feel guilty every time you say no. So if your family is a high priority, right, but you set a workout goal or a financial goal for yourself and there's friction, this is an identity friction. It's not an actual friction. You need to create kind of a new statement that I'm an amazing mom because I protect my time and resources. I'm an amazing mom because I protect my time and resources. We have to figure out how to blend those two identities so they're not in competition, because Baruch Hashem, we're all Jews, we believe in God, and we know that anything that's good for us and important for our vitality and our health and our mind is not in conflict with something else we need to do on a base level. It's just, it got complicated with the humanity of it and the emotion of it. So I think that's really important. Okay. Who else would like to share anything about a habit that they're working on right now? Something in process, maybe you have something to celebrate, a habit you've been improving. Yehudit or Charlotte, welcome to the call. Anything you want to share? Hello. Sorry, let me just turn off my feed because I'm going to die. 1 second, I'm going to melt right in front of you like the Wicked Witch. There we go. Okay.
Yeah, don't do that.
Here
Don't
we
do
go.
that.
Right, because we drink so much water.
There you go.
Away.
I'm sorry. I was just dyeing my hair because, you know, even hairdressers have to do that on odd occasions. So apologize, ladies, if I've got like crap all over my face. I'm actually just going to sit on the top of my toilet seat now. So I take you to the best places in my house. I'm going to bounce off what Rena said. I'm on this huge mission to, I feel like it becomes unappreciated because we become so like big people pleasers. And then let's face it, it goes into emotional, and then I can start eating from that and blah, blah, blah. And Dafka 2B has been the first and last for a very long time, something I've done for myself. So like I do cling on to 2B because I know that that's something I'm doing for myself. But the self-care thing is tough. Like I'm completely stuck, and there's a lot of things I've changed, not changed. I do my coaching, I do my tracking, I do this, but I can't fit in the day, like to go and find time to do exercise, let's say, or, you know, I've got little ones. Yeah, I've got 4 kids and I've got like, my smallest is 2. So yes, they are all still demanding, but like, it's putting that extra step and getting that extra self-care in and having the time to do it and not feeling guilty and selfish that I'm not home doing laundry and making healthier food for the kids or, you know, things like that. Bloody cake, my God. If anybody was at the meeting with why have I forgot her name? Ilana. I asked this question and I was really good, and Dafka fell on like Hagim. So self-care and cake are still my big thing. Cake was never my thing. Now all of a sudden it's become like, oh, it's almost like a guilt because I've lost weight as well. But in front of Charlotte eat that because she's dieting. I'm like, I'm not dieting. I've lost weight and I've maintained it, but like, you know, it's almost like I've got to eat it to show them I'm not dieting as well. It's like a battle with that. And then I go back to the same circle of, but it is in a way it's self-care not eating that cake. In a way it's self-care sticking to 2B. But like, I just keep going around in this same circle over and over again, and no matter what I seem to try or do, if I don't do things in the house, it doesn't get done, and it's not to my standard. And if I'm not a people pleaser, just like Rena said, you know, I'm gonna have that like thing over my head of people will think worse of me, and I'm supposed to be this Wonder Woman, and I've let it go because that Wonder Woman thing's gone now, and I'm giving it up for myself, and people must think it's just so selfish. But it's just the balance of it is just not there. You know what I mean? And then it does result in like feeling bad, and then it can turn into like emotional eating. You know what I mean? It can like, you can definitely see on a tracker if I've got like on the mood part of it, like you know, overwhelmed, hard day, and there's always an extra treat on that day. There's always like a thing. Oh, and there's always on every single page since I started 2B, I can count 5 times that I've written something that says me time. And I've been on 2B for like 2.5 years.
Yeah. It's really, I think it's really interesting, and I hear it a lot. I mean, I went through it myself in my journey, and I think it's really common, in my opinion, from anybody I've coached one-on-one or in group coaching. And I created, I'll give it to you, but I created a kind of a system for starting to deal with these things. And you already are halfway through it, because the first step is awareness. It's actually tracking those things. Oh, wow, like I see there's just a connection between these feelings and these foods. And I actually find for most people, specific foods very often correspond to specific feelings. And so really start to make like kind of like, you know, an infinity chart. This food, this feeling, this craving. Like for me, popcorn is like, I want to completely like disconnect and like lose myself, like, but over a long period of time. Like I want to eat a volume of something. So like popcorn is that thing. That means like, I don't need 5-minute break. I need like at least a minimum of 2 hours of a break. If I'm craving ice cream, it's worthiness. Straight up, I feel like I failed at something, doesn't matter what it is, but like that's an ice cream craving. It's a chocolate craving. It's usually something hormonal. Like I feel like, I don't know why my feelings are not in my control. Like they're nothing to do with my thoughts, and they have nothing to do with what's going on around me, but I am feeling stuff.
Right.
Okay.
Right. That's usually like that time of the month for me. I'm like, oh no, it makes sense. The carbs, the chocolate, I get it.
Right, exactly. Like I'm not angry at anybody, but I am just angry.
This is my self-care.
Yes. So I think starting to make associations and patterns helps us to be like, oh, I don't actually need to eat popcorn. I just really need 2 hours of like completely unplugging. And I just associate that with food. I do. I have an association from a long time. One of my favorite quotes from Darren Hardy about this is, anyone can fall in love. Falling in love is easy. Staying in love takes real work. You can fall in love with 2B and how you feel, losing weight. Oh my gosh, it's so fun. Staying in love with doing the work when you're not seeing anything on the scale anymore. I'm still, like you said, not eating cake because you don't want to eat cake. And I've totally been there where I've eaten stuff right after I lost weight because I had to prove to everybody I could. And now I'm like, I don't have to prove anything to anybody. Like I proved to myself that I am going to work on this relationship with food, that it's really like staying in love with your spouse, right? If you don't date your spouse, right? But if you're eating cake, like that's like, you know, when we're kind of going through the motions, like I'm going to show up for this, but I'm like, my head is somewhere else. I'm checked out. So we've all been there, right? We're going through the motions, but we're not really there. That's eating cake, right? You're like, oh, this isn't like, oh, it's not your thing even. It's just a thing.
I don't want it to be my thing. This is the thing.
Yeah. So then it's about like, start saying that to yourself. Anyone can fall in love. Anybody can stop eating cake for a few weeks and lose weight. Anybody can.
Right, but then it comes back. That's my issue. That it returns on me. Like it's like that never-ending monthly cycle.
So it's staying in love takes real work. And so it's like, really like, tell us what kind of cake, where's the cake coming from? Are you baking it? Are you buying it? Does someone drop it by your house? Is it like a cake on demand?
Are you actually really asking? Because it is an issue.
Yeah, no, I'm really asking.
Oh,
I'm really
okay.
asking.
I don't buy it. And I also let my daughter make a cake for Friday night because I generally don't like it.
Right.
And then I go to my in-laws, and they're like amazing. They've done conditorial courses, and everybody, everybody brings one each, and they're all showing off with each other, and each one's is better than each other's, and you've got to taste everybody, and you've got to taste hers, because if you don't taste hers, then it's like all the respect and all of that. And I'm like, okay, well, don't taste any, and then you have one taste of it, and it stays. You know what I mean? It's like.
And this is every week?
More or less.
And it's only one day of the week, or do they send the cake back with you?
Oh, no. We don't do that.
No cake says coming home. So it's one day of the week.
No.
It's one day of the week that only when you're emotional and you feel like you need to prove it to them that you can eat their cake, but you really don't like it. Oh, we can't hear you.
No, I do like it. I do
like the cake.
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't?
Well,
yes, in a minute. Bye.
Well, so I'm just curious why, if you like the cake and you like to eat the cake,
yeah,
where's the problem?
Because it's too much. Doesn't
So
stop.
how much is too much? How much is too much? So then what does it mean doesn't stop? Like
this week it was like something. There was like 3 different ones this week, so obviously, God forbid I should try one. I have to try all of them, and then.
Yeah, and what's try mean, right? Does try mean have a piece? Does try mean have a bite?
I try everything, but it ends up being a lot more than what I should.
Okay, so where we got the word should? What's a should? How much?
I want to be able to control it. I want to be able to say, yeah, this is my treat. I'm sitting down, one piece, my tea, whatever, after lunch or whatever. And I can't have that control. The control's gone, because then that one leads to the next, and then the next, and then it ends up that I've had like 6 pieces of cake.
Because that's not love, right? That's not love. That's like that's not love. That's like a
bloody hate
series of bad decisions, right? Okay. Bye-bye, Lily. Sorry, bye-bye, Sorrel was saying bye-bye to me. Yeah, I'm glad you got some Lily inspiration. Okay, great. So let's talk about cake. So you're going to this special event on a relatively regular basis once a week, okay? And there's always multiple cakes, right? Multiple cakes. And you feel like, I'm just making sure I get it right, that when you start with the cake, you can't stop. It's like bad momentum, and then it's bad feelings. And then even though you love it, you hate it, and we have like this cycle of frustration. Am I missing anything? Is there anything else I should know? Okay. Oh, and there's the point that there's the peer pressure that if you taste one, you have to taste all of them.
Sorry, loads of kids' background noise tonight. Yeah, no, exactly.
They're not my kids. It doesn't bother me. If they were my kids, it would annoy me, but it's not my kids.
Sorry. Yeah, you're right on every point. And the peer pressure thing. The peer pressure thing I could get over. Like, I've got a big mouth. It's okay. I can use it. I've been in the family for 18 years. It's all cool. But it almost feels like it's just not fair that I just can't have this control of having one and just stopping. I just watch people do it, and it's like, well, I know, but like, because obviously, I always say when I see people doing it, that self-control. It's like I can deal with it with food because I can eat a big, massive shit ton of food, but it's like loads of vegetables. Like, I literally had zoodles with 10 zucchinis the other day, and that didn't matter because it was zucchinis. But I can't justify having the 10 pieces of cake. It's not the same ratio, you know what I mean? Like, I could have one cookie. No, not Charlotte. I'll just have one more. And then obviously there's only 4 left, so I might as well finish them because then I can't eat any more. But it's like a ridiculous thing. And then my daughter, did you taste my cake? Yeah, it's like, I feel like I've said cake that much tonight. I don't even want to look at it again. But like, it's just this thing. It's not fair. It's not fair that I don't have this control. It's like, I just don't want it. I've managed so many other ways. And this is the little bugger that gets me back to square one every single bloody week. It's like this constant circle, and the hatred becomes, maybe it's emotional. And then I'm like, well, I'm going to eat it anyway. And then on the other side of it, I'm like, I don't. And then because I didn't eat it, I'll eat 3. It's like a stupid continuous.
Are you open to trying something kind of a little different? Are you open to anything a little bit different? Okay. Always. Have you ever heard of tapping?
Oh, tapping. Yeah. You know what? I did that for something once. Yeah.
Would you be open to practicing it with me for a minute?
Oh my God, no. I'm in my bathroom at Echo. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay. So can you lock the door to your bathroom? Is it safe?
It's okay. My husband's almost got them under control.
Okay. Okay, so what we're gonna do, and I think because you're a great talker, so I want you to repeat what I say, but change it to make it your own and how it feels to you. Okay. So I'm gonna say something, and when you say it back, I want you to say it in your own words. Okay. And then I'm gonna repeat it to you.
I just want
you're
to
gonna
check
repeat it back.
before we do this. Is anyone
Yes.
else bored? Because I feel like I've taken up a lot of time.
No, this is going to be helpful for everybody. Now,
Oh,
this
okay.
is like this is what I'm going to do here is what I do when I'm helping clients, and they have like a pattern, right? It's like a deep pattern, and we all have patterns. It's in our nervous system. You hear it's in our thoughts. She's told that story to herself like a million times, right? It was so comfortable. It's just like rolled off your tongue. Like you had that same conversation, right? A million times. Okay, so that's what tapping is really for, to get some of that freedom out of the body and that like do some rewiring for the nervous system. Okay, so here are the tapping points. So we do top of your head, right here by your hairline.
Push down my head. Can I do my forehead?
No, yeah, exactly, right in front of the hairline. Okay, right above the eyebrow. Okay, right on the side of the eyebrow, under the eyes. Okay, and yeah, you could totally do just one hand. Under the nose.
Well, I'm holding the phone with the other hand.
That's fine. Under the nose, chin, and collarbone, and then under your arm, in your armpit. Okay. Now these are all the areas in reflexology they use them, and acupuncture they use them. These are actually even in Kabbalah, that all these areas have a space, and these are the energy rings in the body. And so when we have feelings that get stuck and we go round and round and round again, what we're going to do is we're going to talk them out while we let them out of our body. And this helps to clear that energy. And what's really cool is they now have science that can watch it happen on a scientific level, which is pretty cool. So it's proven now and not just anecdotal evidence. So we're going to start with the carotid tap point actually here on your hand. This is how we start, right here. This. Okay. I am really frustrated about cake.
Here we go with the cake again. I am really frustrated with the bloody cake.
I'm really frustrated with the bloody cake.
Look at Lily with the bloodies. I am really frustrated with the bloody cake.
Right up here. Here. Every time I think about this cake, I get angry.
Oh, I have to say this. Okay. Every time I think about this cake, I get angry.
And change the words so that they feel right, like your own words, right? And then I'll repeat them back. Okay. Every time I think about this cake, I get so angry.
Every time I get this cake, I get so angry.
It shouldn't be like this.
It's not fair that it's like this.
It's not fair that it's like this. Side of the eye. If I didn't have to see this cake anymore, I would be so happy.
I would be very happy to not see this cake again. But that's not life.
Very happy.
Cake everywhere.
I would be very happy to not see this cake again.
I would be very happy to not see this cake again.
Yes, there are temptations everywhere, but this is a very big temptation.
This is a very big bloody temptation.
This is a very big bloody temptation. This is a very big bloody temptation.
This is a big dread. It's a dread.
It's a dread. Every time I go to my in-laws, I dread having to make this choice.
Every time I go to my in-laws, I just dread. Yeah, I dread it.
Dread. And no matter what choice I make, I'm not happy with it.
And no matter what choice I make, I'm not happy with it.
I'm not happy when I don't eat the cake.
I'm not happy because it's not bloody fair.
Because it's not fair, because I want to eat the cake.
I just want to have control over the cake.
I want to have control over the cake. I wish the cake would let me control it.
I do wish I could control the cake.
I do wish I could control the cake. not under the arms.
Not even showered yet, Lily. Come on now.
This is important. This isn't a big one. I love and accept myself unconditionally, even with the bloody cake.
Oh, bloody hell. You know I'm British and this is getting way too emotional now.
I love myself unconditionally, even with the
I
bloody
love
cake.
my very sweaty armpit before a shower more than the bloody cake.
I love my sweaty armpit before the shower more than the bloody cake.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, now we're going to go back up to the top. I don't feel like I have the control of the cake because I'm never happy with the decision I make to eat it.
Because I can't control myself with one piece.
If I could just have one piece of cake, I would feel in control.
I would feel more in control.
If I had just one piece of cake, I would feel more in control.
Or none, because let's face it, one leads to more.
One leads to more. I'm never going to have control of cake.
I am never. No, I want to have control of the cake. I don't want to say that.
What do you want to say?
That I don't want cake to rule my life. I don't want cake to be my dread.
I don't want cake to what?
Be my dread.
I don't want cake to be my dread.
I actually don't want to say the word cake anymore, to be honest.
I don't even want to say the word cake anymore.
I really don't. And I've just noticed I need to do my upper lip as well.
Right over here. Cake isn't my dread. It's this whole damn story about the cake that's my dread.
It's the story of the cake. Story of my life.
The story of my life that I'm afraid of food.
Used to be afraid of food.
I used to be afraid of food.
Now I've got 2B. And you guys.
Now I have 2B. With 2B, I don't have to be afraid of cake.
With 2B, I don't have to be afraid of cake.
With 2B,
oh, here we go again with the pit.
I choose to love myself unconditionally if I eat cake or not.
I choose to love myself unconditionally if I eat the cake or not.
Right up here.
Lily, this has got to be the last one. Giving myself brain hemorrhages
It's gonna
here.
be the last one. Okay, go tap lighter. Tap lighter. Okay. I am in control of cake because I move it into my mouth.
I am in control of cake because I move it to my mouth.
And if I don't get angry at myself for doing that, I would still be in control of cake.
And if I don't get angry for doing that, I'll still be in control of cake.
I am in control of cake.
I am in control of cake because now we're after Shabbat and I've already done the deed.
I'm choosing to eat multiple pieces of cake.
I am choosing to eating multiple pieces of cake.
I could choose it and control the choice.
I can choose and control the choice.
See, those aren't your words. What do you really want to say?
That I really want to stop tapping my face.
We're almost done. It's uncomfortable. It is. It's uncomfortable to process it.
I really want to say that isn't this an excuse of every, I'm just going to put it out there, of every fat woman's day? Like,
isn't this just an excuse?
What?
I am in control because I'm repeating what you said. This is just an excuse because I am in control of the cake.
Oh, I am totally in control of the cake. And what I need to remember is Lily's going to make me tap my whole body again if I eat any more cake.
Damn straight.
I'm never going to eat any cake again, Lily, I promise you.
That's good. Now raise up your hands. The one hand that you can. Take a deep breath. And when you exhale, you're going to drop that hand, and I want you to just let go of the cake. This powerful story of the cake. 1, 2, 3. Let it go. That doesn't magically like make the cake less appealing.
Oh yeah,
But
just
it
imagine me
does,
flushing it down the toilet because I'm sat
yeah,
on it, not on it, just on the lid of the toilet.
but it does start to rewire us that like, oh, cake, it's just a story. It's like a whole thing. It's the whole thing. It's not just about cake. Because honestly, we all know you're in control of the cake. You choose to not stop. We choose to not stop. We are in control of the cake the whole time. We just don't like the choices. And so we're anthropomorphizing, whatever that word is. Who can help me out here? When you make the cake into a person, it's not a person. It can't really control it, right? But we're giving it thing because we just don't like our choices. So when we take back control, we tap through and we're like, yeah, I love myself unconditionally, even if I eat the cake. How much cake do I really want? Because I'm in control the whole time. Do I want next time I go into that cake room, this is my treat for the week. This is the most worth it treat. I'm going to take my little cup saucer, right? Teacup saucer. I'm going to put one taste and I'm going to pretend like I'm a food critic and I'm going to criticize in my mind all their cakes. Which is the best, bite by bite? Am I going to do this? Or am I going to be like, before I even touch them, is any of this even worth it? Be the cake critic before you even get into it. Or decide before you even go, I actually just don't like cake that much. And so it's perfectly fair that they love to bake and I love chocolate. I love ice cream. I love something else that I want to be my treat. I love a whiskey sour, whatever it is. Like they're allowed, it's not fair. They're allowed to, it's fair that they have food that they love to make. It's fair that you get to choose whether it's a fit for you or not.
Mm-hmm.
Something to think about. And next time, I'm telling you, you get a big cake, you're going to feel tapping. You're going to feel the tapping on your skin. And you're going to be like, ooh, I don't know if I want to eat that. Rena, go for it.
Thanks, Lily.
You're welcome. Thank you for being open to trying something that I'm sure was like a new experience.
No, you've all heard it before, but anyway, thank you anyway.
You're welcome.
Just one thing that your little session with Charlotte like brought up for me is
Yeah.
that like also let's say I have like there's always cake on my house for Shabbos also, and it's not really a temptation for me, that's true, but I do leave the table with like resentment that I can't eat it. Even the fact that I'm like refusing it, it doesn't give me a good feeling because like I'm resentful that I can't eat it.
Yeah.
And I can't get past it. And it's like even so like it's a lose-lose. Like, okay, like I didn't eat the cake, but I still don't feel good that I didn't eat it. It just makes me feel resentful.
So first of all, thank you so much for sharing that. I think it's a very brave and important thing to share when other people are sharing about how amazing they feel every time they don't eat cake. I think it's really important because I think a lot of people feel that way. I know for me personally, one of the biggest treats that I gave myself over the journey was any food that I felt like Charlotte said, I didn't have control over. I made it a point to learn how to control that food. And I know a few times ago, we talked about like binge eating and we talked about how to use your food tracker to make minute progress. But like, so pizza was that for me. Like, I just couldn't eat less than 4 slices of pizza. And it was like, I started and I just could not eat less than 4 slices of pizza. Like I would try, I would walk away from the box, I would move it here. Ruthie, goodbye, have a good night. And I think it's something that I really made a very important thing around that to not feel resentment. And I think it goes back to that thing I shared, that it's easy to fall in love, but it's a lot harder to stay in love. And so clearing these resentments, like if I want to have cake on Shabbos, I can have cake on Shabbos and I accept and I'm happy to maintain this weight, or I'm going to see that having a piece of cake on Shabbos, like maybe if I put it in the mini muffin, like whenever I serve cake on Shabbos, I cut it and I put it in mini cupcake liners or in cupcake liners, depending on the size that I want to serve it at, right? So like some cakes just wouldn't be appropriate in mini cupcake liners, right? But like chocolates would, other things would. So like I do a regular small size cupcake liner. And then I know that's a portion. Like this cake, and now it's in portion size. So if I want to have a piece, it's very unlikely that that one cupcake liner size piece of cake is going to be a weight gain. It's like really not. Maybe is it going to be a maintenance? Possible. But maybe I really want to have the cake. It doesn't have to equal weight gain. And I think exiting that weight gain mindset is really important to have a happy relationship and to feel in love, because no, not every night is date night with your husband, but that doesn't mean that we can't anticipate date night and look forward to it. And sometimes we'll resent when, you know, he cancels at the last minute and we miss our date night. Like, that's okay too. That means you like it and you anticipate it. But I think it's kind of a healing relationship there to say, hey, you know what, I'm not okay that this food has power over me. And I know Alana always talks about, you know yourself, don't test yourself. At some point, that's true with weight loss, but at some point, maybe we have to take a break for weight loss for a minute and be like, know myself. I want to trust myself around this food. This isn't a food that I'm okay living without. I could live without, and I've tried it. But you know what? I also want to know how I could live with it. And once I know I can maintain with it, you might find that it's just a lot easier to let it go and to not feel that resentment. What do you think?
I don't know.
It's food for thought, right? Because it's unlikely that if, you know, Charlotte took that cake and put it in a cupcake liner and had all 3 servings that fit in one cupcake liner, that it'll be a weight gain in any way. Very unlikely.
I don't think if I had like one little cupcake, it wouldn't like, I think it would just make me more frustrated. It's better
So
not
then
to have any.
But then
For me,
you
I
cannot have
think.
any, but then you cannot have any without frustration and resentment, because I could have it. That's exactly the point. I feel that way about challah. I don't eat challah anymore because challah just isn't satisfying in a portion for me. Pizza, on the other hand, I learned that if I have it with a big salad and a piece of salmon, I can totally enjoy one piece of pizza. I had one piece of pizza last night at a football game at 11 o'clock at night, and it was not a weight gain because I had like a thing this big of vegetables and I had some strawberries. And then in the end, I had one small slice of pizza and nothing happened. But beforehand, I could have eaten like a half a box of pizza at that game, right? I was way veggies most. I was way water first. And the truth is, I didn't even like, after I was like, oh, I didn't really need that. Next time I would even like, didn't even speak to me that much. So it's finding that level of like, oh, I could have this, but you know what? In a serving, what I really loved about it was the overeating of it. Oh, I resent that that's not a part of my life anymore. Did it really feel that good? Overeating the cake? I don't know. Or do you resent maybe leaving the table? Maybe if the cake was in a buffet in the kitchen and everyone who went and took the dessert plate and took a piece and you had your hot cocoa and you were at the table with them, maybe you'd be less resentful. Is it even the cake you're resenting? I don't know. Hello, Melissa. Anything you want to add? Any questions? Pesha, welcome. I didn't get to say hi to you.
Hi, so good to see you. I lost my voice.
Good to see you.
Yeah. I joined late, so I missed the first
No
half.
problem.
So I'm very excited to look at the recording. I found the tapping
Excellent.
very interesting. I was like wanting to follow along.
You should. You
I'll
could follow
listen to
along.
the recording. Yeah, I'm gonna listen to the recording, and I'm curious
And
to
that
see
was
how that
like
helps.
a very low level tapping. Pesha can tell you she has a real tapping expert. That was like a super beginner, like gentle, just getting started with tapping.
I've never
but
done
hey,
that before.
It's
But
really amazing.
no, I mean, I could just share that you know, I joined in right when Charlotte was explaining like the frustrations with cake, and I've seen her come on before. I don't know her, but
Yeah.
and I feel like very connected because I struggle with a lot of the same feelings around cake. Like I know that having something that's a silly carb is going to be the gateway, and the gates are going to be just like wide open the second I eat it. If it's like a Ritz cracker, something in my head that I'm like that's not helping me, and then I'm trying to hold back. The second I do eat it, I do struggle with like just allowing everything else to be eaten, because why not? Like the bad wafers and like the things I'm not really enjoying. And this past weekend, it was just like bothering. This past week, I'm like, enough is freaking enough already. Like I can't keep blaming outside sources. I can't keep saying I don't have the control. Like, I have the control. I'm just wanting the food. I love the way food tastes. I'm never gonna not.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with chocolate. I'm obsessed with cake and cookies. But there's no program out there that's gonna say if you want to get those results, then you can just have all the cookies, cakes, and chocolate every single day. And so I'm like, you know what? That's it. Like, I've just got to stop and like focus on one small piece of my goal. And so for me, my biggest thing was like when I get home at the end of the day, you know, I bring my breakfast, I bring my lunch, I'm all good. But then when it comes to my home, like once I get home at 4 o'clock until the night, that's when I'm in the kitchen the whole night. Because I'm preparing food for my daughter's snack and then her dinner and then my dinner and then our lunches and our breakfasts. I'm like, I need to change it up. Like, I can't keep doing this and expecting the same results, right? So this past week, on like Tuesday and on, I made a goal of like really being careful during just that time. Like, that's all I'm focusing on. And I've like stopped myself. Last night I was like prepping all the food for the week, and I noticed I was picking. I'm like, go upstairs, brush your teeth, floss your teeth, and then put in my freaking retainer, like a literal guard. I'm like, I'm not doing this. And it really helped me throughout the week exercise that control of like, I can be in control. It's not so difficult if I'm just focusing on that one portion of the day. I'm not thinking about the whole day and
Amazing.
everything I have to do.
You know what
And
else helps with that, by the way? Gloves. When you're food
gloves.
prepping, gloves,
Yeah.
disposable gloves make a huge difference when it comes to picking at food. There's something about the texture. It's tactile hunger. Alana talked about it, I think, in the coach training when we were training to be mindset mentors. Talked about sense hunger, touch hunger, and so actually using disposable gloves really can cut down on nibbling when you're baking or cooking or food prepping. It's a lot less appealing to eat off plastic gloves. It's just not appealing
Interesting.
the same way.
Well, I usually use a spoon, but I'll try that.
But
next time. I'm, like,
it
working.
still, it makes a difference. And putting in a night retainer, instead of making it like a whole story of like, I only have control when I have a night retainer. Like, let's say if I exercise control, but like, you know, one of my favorite Darren Hardy quotes is, be patient. You spent years repeating bad behaviors. It's going to take years to build good ones. Like, maybe it'll be a year of wearing a retainer that you want to wear anyway at night while you do your food prep. But by then it would be so awkward to put food in your mouth because you've just retrained your brain that that's not something you do while you're doing that. So instead of making it like a whole thing about not having control, right? It's like, of course I have control. This is just like,
I think, yeah. And I think the thought process is like, I have to meet myself really where I'm at. I think I'm further along than I really am, but I'm not, because I've been doing this for months. I've been on program for like 10 or 11 months and I've lost 10 pounds and it's frustrating as hell. And I'm realizing like, slow down, go back a little. Like, you wouldn't jump into a pool if you can't really swim. You would go into the shallow with floaties, holding someone's hand until you get comfortable, one foot in at a time. And then once you feel comfortable, okay, I'm ready. You can let go now. I'm going to go. And so that's where I'm thinking, I'm like, I just need these little things to kind of help me through. Like, if literally brushing my teeth and flossing and then putting a retainer in is like an extra layer of guards of like, I'm just not going to eat the food because I don't want to have to like, you know, that's like my sign of like, like I'm done. It does help, and it did help me. And this week I had a very good week after, mentally from it, because I lost like almost 4 pounds from Tuesday. I had a weight loss Shabbos because I went into Shabbos saying like, I'm not going to make this a crazy Shabbos. I'm going to try to have it as controlled and calm as possible. And the other tip I did for this week is I made all my food for the week, but I'm bringing it to work tomorrow. So I have like my triple chocolate cheesecake in like a pie. So I have that at work. I made like a big salad I'm going to have FFCs in like a special separate container. And I made tofu, and then I have eggs, and I made 2 different dressings, and I'm bringing all of it with me. I'm bringing a bag of baby carrots and a thing of hummus, and that's it. And if I feel like I'm hungry, I made also a soup, like a vegetable soup for those times at like last minute. Like just now I was starving and I don't want to run to the fridge and just grab whatever I have. I'm like, oh, soup, great. 5 seconds, put it in. It was perfect to like hold me over. And now I have like a salad. But like, I have to get out of the kitchen more. I can't be in the kitchen and tell myself like it's impossible because I spent hours in the kitchen. Well, then stop. Like figure out how I'm going to change it up. And
Well,
so
one of the
that's
things
like
you just
hopefully going to
said,
help me for this week.
yeah. Well, one of the things you just said was that, you know, leaning into your coaches. And so you have 3 coaches in this group. You have me, you have 4 coaches. You have Yoni, you have Ayelet, you have Misal, and everyone has coaches. You know, Harvey McKay, who is like a very famous, successful business person, has 20 different coaches. Okay, like it's 20 different coaches for different things. So, you know, I hired a money coach. I hired a stylist coach at some point. I've hired, you know, like really, I'm a big believer in that getting help there, it's great, you know. And I think you really hit on something that's very, very important. The other thing that you said was how much you love food. And so it makes sense that you'd also maybe lean into that, like food and like how much you love food and love baking and love desserts. And like, look how, like a lot of people heard that list of food prep you just did. And as a fellow foodie, I know like I could have banged that out and it would have been fun doing it. Right? Other people who like hate to cook and hate the kitchen, they're like, oh my God, like she already made more food than I make in a whole week, you know? And so I think there's something else that he says in the book, The Compound Effect, which is what is your entertainment versus education ratio? Okay. And if food is like entertainment for you, right? Like the top 20% of people spend more of their time focused on education than entertainment. So if food is entertainment for you, how could you get more educated about food? Instead of just dieting, like how could you learn about like the health benefits of turmeric? Like or different vegetables. Like, you know, it's very powerful when you're somebody who loves food to then fill your mind with different salad dressings. Which different salad dressings would have the most antioxidants? Like, you know, like make it educational, this entertainment of food, instead of just about the sweets and the baked goods. It can be very powerful to take something that you already have a strength in and leverage it to kind of raise the boat. The same way, like I love baking. And so I don't wait for Alana Molstein to come up with great recipes. I make up my own. Like I have protein powder and like I can turn protein powder into anything. I can make protein powder into like the absolute best frosting in the universe. Like, you know what I mean? Like
I gain weight from it for some reason. It's really sad.
For protein powder?
Yeah, I've tried like mug cakes. I gain weight every single time. I don't have luck with it, but
well, just so that you know, you want to, every brand is different. You really do want to go on a little bit of a tour because you have whey, you have soy, you have pea, you have peanut. I mean, like you have brown, right? I mean, like there's every single one of them is different. So saying I gain weight, right? So I don't use whey. I use the organic Orgain protein powder, and I use the PB2 protein. Both of those are Pareve, non-dairy. So it's really important to, again, don't take a whole area of food and cross it off, right? Educate yourself instead of just entertain yourself.
Yeah. But I'm also just trying to slow down because I love food, I'm always looking for the next recipe. And I always find the next like baked good. I just want to make that viral cake that she made. It looks so good. But I'm like, it's always going to be there. Just slow down. First, let's like work with the consistency. I think that's for me is like just slowing down and like taking it one step at a time. Like the consistency piece of breakfast, I like it. I don't love being consistent. I like new foods. I get bored.
Right.
But I'm enjoying and I'm like, okay, that's it. It's done. It's there. It's like my lunch. Do I want a salad every day? No. But like if I need to find something different, at least I have the base as a salad. So I can always take a protein bagel and like throw some eggs on it.
Can I ask you a really important question though, Melissa? Like if you love food and you're forcing the consistency this way, like where are you seeing viral cake videos? Like if you were seeing viral salad dressing videos, maybe you feel
it's
like
Alana's video. It's Alana's video
of cake.
Did you see it? Oh yeah, she just posted it the other day. It's the version of the the coffee cake that she made, but it's a chocolate chip version. So and she makes it in a bundt pan and she drizzles and people have been posting all about it, but she posted it. So that's exciting to me. Like I like eating the healthier option for sure. It makes me feel more in control. It makes me feel like I'm doing something healthy for myself. Like if I have that for breakfast, wow, that's in my head. Like I'm eating cake for breakfast. This is like the best thing ever. And I love it. I love it. And to me, like honestly, the consistency piece in general always bothered me, but lately it's not been as bad because I found the triple chocolate cheesecake I love. I have it with a coffee. and I'm still losing weight. But the point is, like, I was able to shift my mindset, and
Yeah,
I did have a weight loss Shabbos, and
that's
I'm
amazing.
starting to hope. I'm excited for the week. Like, I'm looking forward to it, and I'm glad that I worked around my issue of like excuses, because I would always give an excuse of I have no time to work out because I'm in the kitchen. I'm always around food. Like now, my lunches and breakfast, I don't have to pack myself up for the whole week unless towards the end of the week I need more food.
And now you're gonna
But I
have to
don't
find
have
a
to
new
be in
form
the
of
kitchen.
entertainment.
Oh, I do. I have a powder gel kit that I do at home, which is really fun.
Oh,
And I have diamond art that I've started. I got a new puzzle I've started. I have a lot of things I want to
yeah,
do. But
that's amazing. Now you took that entertainment piece, right? And you're like, I'm gonna have new hobbies. And I think I think that's absolutely amazing. And I think something we could all apply and take with that when we're being too food centered, like, oh, I'm a food person. I love cake. I love chocolate. I love this. Like, that's awesome. But maybe we don't like attracts like. If we get more of what we appreciate. If we're appreciating desserts, we're gonna get more desserts. But if we start appreciating our nails, all of a sudden it's about, oh, what's the newest viral nail design I want to try to copy, not the newest viral cake.
Right. And of course, it's a work in progress. Like, I think the problem with me is that I have a hard time believing what I say, and I have a hard time valuing like my words, because I've let myself down so many times where I'm like, I'm doing this, I've got this, I'm going to be in control, and then like a day later I'm done. So it's very hard for me, like taking, like really listening to my own words, and like I take it with a grain of salt naturally. So I really got to just slow down and like find a way to prove to myself that I can achieve this. Like, I've been in maintenance for the past 4 or 5 months.
Not
I don't
anymore.
want to
You just
be, and
lost
I've been
4 pounds this
trying.
week. Nope, you just not anymore.
This week I definitely worked harder to shift my mindset. I just hope that
And by the way, if you lost
continues.
4 pounds in a week, a lot of that was water weight, and that means you probably lost a lot more weight this past month that finally released. So take that with you as well. I mean,
I was
I've had a lot of experience.
I was eating crap. I was just eating crap and crap and crap. Like, that's just what it was. And I was sick of it because I would complain that the program's not really working for me. And in my head, I'm thinking like I need more structure, because whenever I did well on a program, I had a little bit more structure. And so I told myself, like, even if I took Tubi and made a framework a little bit more, condensed, like which FFCs should I try to have now, and try to like plan it out on a smaller scale, instead of this whole, like, my brain is like, whoa, what's going on? There's so many choices, so many like recipes. How do it's like a little overwhelming. I'm trying to like stop and like make it small. That way, then when I get really good at that, I can like add in something else and add in something else. So for me to have salad every day for for lunch, isn't necessarily like, decadent. Like, for me, it's not like a comfort food. I like it. It's delicious. But it's nice to then, later on, if I want to add something, then I will, not being strict about it, but like just to help myself.
Bye, Tasha. We'll see you later. Love you guys. Melissa, thank you so much for sharing. Sorry, I'm so happy you could get on here at the end. We're going over a little bit, but I think this was really helpful for everybody. And just by the way, as somebody who is a foodie, I now have a salad every day for lunch for like, I don't know how many years, like 99% of the time. And like you said, I just have moved on to other hobbies, and I still love food, but I'm just not expressing that love through making different, sometimes it's just adding a different vegetable to my salad, like, oh, treating myself to radishes this week in my salad, or red onion, or, just getting a new bottle dressing. Like, I just got from America a Green Goddess seasoning from Trader Joe's. Someone came from America and brought it to me. Like, that was enough to add to my salad today. That was pretty amazing. You guys were amazing. You were honest. You shared vulnerably. Charlotte let me bloody tap on her face, which was amazing. And I hope that you guys keep going on your journey. I know you will. But share this week something that was a takeaway, why somebody should watch this recording, and what you got out of it, so that other people keep making the effort, keep showing up on Sunday. And to all of you who are in Ayala's group, please, I know our hearts are all with her right now. And so don't hesitate to reach out to anybody that you need. To all of us coaches, we all back up each other. So if you need anything, ask in the group, and we're all here for you. And have a wonderful night.